Welcome to Healthy Hustlers.
Welcome back to the Healthy Hustlers, girls. Both of you. First time in person for Katie, which is so exciting. And Kayla's just like
She's
old
back.
news on this show.
Part of the furniture. Just ignore me.
She's well and truly part of the show. But thank you so much for being here with me today. I'm really excited to have you here and excited to be on the Gold Coast with you both. Today I really want to dive into, well, obviously talking all things sweat, business life, but I think what following you both and seeing the beautiful friendship that just seems so authentic and real, and, you obviously hold high standards for each other, which I love. And I see that through Instagram and I love that energy. And I know there's so many people kind of like searching for their people, especially sometimes when we do move into health, wellness, mindset for the first time. And a lot of these, I guess, concepts or things are really new. It's hard to find your people and the people that are interested in the same. So I want to dive into a bit of that today with you girls. But let's start with, how are you both? How are you, Katie?
I'm so well. I'm so excited to be here. The weather's turned in Queensland, the Gold Coast, and it's my favourite time of year, so I'm great.
So good.
And I feel like this podcast is going to come out after this happens, but Katie and I are both heading to Dubai in a few days, so we'll be running a big boot camp. So we're just like actually so pumped to be here, but also like we're so pumped to go travel and do what
I was
we do
just about
best.
to say, I cannot wait to travel with you, because the last time we travelled together, we weren't as close as we are now. We were like more fresh friends when we went to Bali.
Yeah, this is true.
And
Fresh
that was
friends. I like that.
well, no, but it was like quite early on in our friendship, and I feel like so much has happened, and our lives are just better and great. And
Say what you really want to say, Katie. Katie was in
Kayla's gonna say what
Katie was in a relationship with someone that she's no longer in a relationship with.
And
I'm
now
happy
you're
now.
not. You're happy. That is so good.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Just in a really great place in life. And I'm really excited to travel with Kayla again. I'm excited to just go away. And I don't think I was my true self. Like, I actually don't think I was.
I believe that.
I also had, I think we talked about this last time, but I was on a level of contraception that was just like not working for me in my body. I was just in a weird place. And now I feel like now we're thriving.
Life's good.
Life's great.
I love that. And so let's just talk about your relationship so everyone has a bit of an understanding. Kayla, obviously the founder and owner of Sweat, and you look after the trainers, am I right? And then Katie's a head trainer at Sweat. I know you shared actually in our podcast episode that Kayla FaceTimed you and was like, do you want to be a Sweat
2
trainer?
seconds after I was having a mentee bee. And I was like, you know what? How could this day get any worse? I'll answer like some creepy FaceTime. Kayla was like, hi. I was like, oh my God.
Perfect.
The funniest thing is when you said that on the podcast, I'm like, if anyone hadn't met you in person, they'd probably be like, as if Kayla would do that. But I'm like, when you meet you, I was like, I can still imagine Kayla.
Yeah. I'm not there to text. I'm not there to waste time. Answer my FaceTime call. Like, I have something good to say. Like, let's get it done. That's literally me. So
Yes.
Katie saw a number that said FaceTime. Like in anyone else's
a contact.
It wasn't a contact. So in anyone else's mind, you'd be like, okay, that person's rung the wrong number. Like, but in my mind, if someone's FaceTiming me, they damn well know who I am. Like, do you know what I mean? It's a FaceTime. So I'm like, I'm going to answer it. I love a FaceTime.
That wasn't
call.
my thought. My thought was, what else could go wrong right now? Let's just like, oh, well, why not?
Send it.
And look
Here
here
we
we
are.
are.
Here we are.
So we actually originally met through Katie's brother. And what happened was, I think a few people have heard this story, but for the people that haven't, I was trying to speak to my husband as we were walking past the Cali, whatever the hotel name is in Brisbane, and he was not listening. He was looking at a car. And I was like, Jay, I need you to pay attention to what I'm saying. And then he just walks off towards his car. I was like, great. All right. And he's like, hey, buddy, starts talking to this guy. And this guy and Jay are talking about the car that this guy owns. And it just so happened to be Katie's brother. Katie's brother looks up and looks at me and goes, oh, you're Kayla. I said, yeah. He goes, my sister's a personal trainer, which is literally what every guy says because they can't relate to me because I have a female audience. So they're like, oh, like I know a personal trainer that's a female. Like I was like,
Cool story, bro.
I literally just went, cool. And then he just sort of awkwardly stood there. He's like, she works in this hotel. I was like, okay, like that's so good. He's like, this is her profile. She'd be a really good trainer. I was like, amazing. Thank you. I'll follow it. And for some reason, actually, I put it up on my phone. I followed it. And then I was looking through and I was like, she actually is really good. Like, she's actually like really smiley. Like, she's really cute. And then I don't even know what happened after that. I think I went to Sweat and I was like, I think I found a trainer. And they were like, okay. And I was like, it's this girl.
Yeah, but can I also preface in this was middle of or towards the end like middle of 2021, and
Yes.
I didn't get a call from Kayla until towards the end of 2022. So almost
Okay.
it was effectively 12 months later.
Wow. And did you know your brother had technically put you
So
forward
I'm
for
sitting
a
at
job?
home, and at the time I lived 100 meters away from where this whole interaction was happening, and I'm just on my phone and I looked at my notifications and it said Kayla Itsines has started following you with the blue tick. Like, it wasn't a bot account, it was your account. I was thinking, wow, okay, that's amazing, because when I was younger, my brother, I've got a few brothers, but that brother in particular would always come into my room and he'd make me watch your boot camps. I don't know if you know this.
No.
This is when the only social media that existed was YouTube. And we'd sit there and he's like, look how cool this is. And it was when you were doing your massive boot camps, like the big, big, big ones. And he said, did you even know this stuff existed? And I was like, no, because the industry wasn't that way.
Yeah.
Instagram hadn't even really started. Anyway, so I got a follow. I was like, wow, this is amazing, but didn't think anything of it. And then a few hours later, my brother called me and we would chat multiple times a day, so it wasn't unusual. And he's like, you wouldn't believe who I met today. I'm thinking, oh, okay, who'd you meet? And he said, oh, Kayla. And I said, Kayla followed me. He said, yeah, I made her follow you. I wouldn't let her walk away until she did. And if you know my brother, that is so my brother's style. And then that was kind of – and actually, no, Kayla messaged me and said, hi, your brother made me follow you. Bye. And I was like, hi. Okay.
Your brother, he was like, I definitely have to.
It took me about half
That's
an
not so
hour.
bitchy. I didn't say it like that.
No, you said, hi, Kay. Hi, Kay. Your brother made me follow you. It's something like so ADHD, like you would say, like cool profile. Honestly, it sounded like a bot. And it was like, thanks, Kay. And I remember being like, it took me so long to reply because it was such a weird message. Most girls, Kayla is not a girly girl. For anyone listening, Kayla is not a girly girl. So most girls, this is how the message would have gone. Hey girl, I just met your brother. He was so lovely. He said to follow you. Like, next time I'm busy, we should definitely catch up or go for a walk. Blah, 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 blah. Kayla, XXX. That is a normal girl message to reply to. And I would be like, oh, hi, da, da, da. Yeah. Nah,
find this
nah.
message.
Kayla gave me zip. Good luck going through hours of messages now. But anyway, so that's how it went. But it was a year. And then I physically actually ran into you, but barging out of the lift doors when I was in the car.
the lifts opened and there was Katie. I was like,
I literally leapt out because I was running late. This is when I was working there and training my in-person clients there. And I literally jumped out the doors because I was running late, and Jay and Kayla were standing there. This was a year later. And I ran into Kayla and was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry I'm running late. I have to go bye. And then ran into the gym and stood there and thought, you just brushed Kayla to what? Because I was running 2 minutes late. And I thought, oh, well. Anyway, kept going about my day, didn't think anything of it. And then I left the next day to go work on a retreat in Bali, fitness retreat. And then I came back and it was a week later after running into them out of the lift, and I was having my mentee B and I got a FaceTime from a random number. And it was Kayla. But the weirdest thing I would say, and this didn't come from you, was that when I got briefed on my first shoot with Sweat, they had screenshots of my stories from ages ago. And it just goes to show you never know who's watching your profile or what's happening. It freaks me out. Like they had screenshots because
what are you going to do? Sign a trainer after 1 minute? But like,
No.
right.
It was I'm just saying it's bizarre. Like they had screenshots of stories just to brief me on what color activewear they wanted me in.
Yeah,
and I was like, wow, how long? Like, it's just weird
How long
because
have you followed me for?
Well, there's so many people that work in a company that they don't have in their title so-and-so _ sweat.
Yes.
Whatever their role is. So you just have random people that might follow you. And I have a public profile, so you don't take much notice. And they were obviously some of the marketing girls.
And so what is it that you would look for in a friendship ultimately, Kayla? I know we have spoken in episodes before about like how there was a transition for you way back when with, you know, certain friends where you didn't feel like it was
working
or they weren't like respecting, you know, where you had got to and what you'd achieved. So what is it now that you like actually look for in a friendship?
For me, so just I'll describe Katie, because Katie would be like, I would have 3 really close friends that I could go to for anything, and Katie would be one of them. So things that Katie is confident. So I love like a confident friend that isn't like, this is going to sound really bad, but it's like she's never like, oh, I feel so ugly today. She's always like, how good do I look? And like that energy. So it's like she brings energy.
Yeah.
A person who will just be really honest with where she's at today. So like she'll be like, today she was like, oh, like I woke up today and it's just not my day. Like I'm just not in the mood. I'm in the mood for you and nobody else. Like really honest. So honest. Honest energy, confidence, and I think like has her own stuff going on and isn't reliant on me. And she's not an energy sucker. So she's not like, oh, I need and I'm like, oh, I'm outpouring my energy. And also if Katie asks for advice, it's because she genuinely wants advice and she will listen to the advice that she believes is correct. So I don't like people who ask for advice and do the opposite of what I've said. Yes. So if Katie says to me, oh, this is completely made up, by the way, guys. I think I like this guy, but this has all the red flags. And I'll say, look, man, like if it's that many red flags, I think you should call it. She'll be like, okay, give me reasons. I'll give her reasons. And she'll go, okay, called off. Yeah. She won't be like, I secretly went in. Like, do you know what I mean?
Cashed him.
Yeah. So it's like.
But that also is because you, and I would say from my perspective, give really good advice and you have zero agenda and you have no ulterior motives except to see your friends do the best and be the happiest that they can be. Yeah. So I know when you give me advice and I really, really trust in your advice that if I action it, and so far 100 times out of 100 times, it has been the right path to take.
Yeah. I always want people to be the best version of themselves. So I surround myself with my friends who also like, if I said to Katie, should I dye my hair blonde?
No.
A fake friend would be like, oh, it could look nice. Like you should try it. Katie immediately no straight to jail. It would look terrible. Yeah. Like honest.
You love that honesty. Yeah. Yeah. But I feel, is that the relationship you have with your family as well? Like you and Leah would have that relationship of really.
Absolutely. Yeah. Leah's in that close circle of people as well. Yeah. 100%.
So it's a big thing.
So the people, the friendships that I don't enjoy are the ones that drain my energy, the ones that I have to bring all the energy, the ones that I'm asking all the questions, the ones that I feel like I have to entertain them. So if the person is over at my house, I feel like very obliged to entertain like every second of them being there. People who complain but do nothing about it. It's fine to complain. Like I'm a personal trainer, I hear complaints all the time, but to do nothing about it. Yeah. And laziness and just what else don't I like? And just like fake and agendas. Yes. Like trying to be my friend, but then being like, oh, I would like to build an app. Like, can you help me? It's like,
yeah, the hidden.
I want a friend. Like I don't want a business partner.
Yes, definitely. And what is it for you that you look for and I guess how you find those people, you know?
I think for me it's someone that, it sounds weird, like I think you have a lot of people that are there for you when you're down and when you're sad, and people can often sit there and be like, oh my God, no. And there's a lot of people that want to hear that something has gone wrong or something bad isn't working. They want to see a bit of a chink in your armor, or they want to hear that you're not happy all the time or this and that. And I think a true friend is the one that I can call and be like, I just, did this, and they are just as excited for me, if not more excited, and it's genuine. Not, oh, wow, that's so cool. I mean, people that are like, holy shit, like that is epic. I'm so excited for you. How can I support you? How can we make this even better? Like what can I don't know, whether it's can I share that on Instagram or can we go out to celebrate, but it doesn't even have to be a big thing. It's just like even I don't know, just the small things in life, but they're happy for you. And I think you've got 101 people around you that are there when things aren't great because they want to sit there and be like, and have a gossip and a bit of a bitch, and they want to be there around negative energy. I think that's a lot more common to find. But I think your true friends are the ones that are so excited for all your wins, if not even more excited for your wins.
Yes.
I recently went away and held my first international fitness retreat.
Yeah, that looked amazing.
It was so good. And I had one of my best friends with me, and we'd had a holiday before, and then we had the retreat, and she came along and she broke into tears telling me how proud she was of me. Oh. And I was like so caught up in just the retreat and making it happen and all these things. And she was genuine, and it was so genuine. She was so excited for me because I think from the outside looking in, she could see what was happening. Yes. I was just too caught up in making it happen. And like something like that, I'm like, you're a good friend. Like you weren't sitting there waiting for me to have a mental breakdown or be stressed or tell you all the things that went wrong. And I so truly feel that with Kayla. Like I can call Kayla, and this is obviously because Kayla's extremely confident and sure of who she is, but I can call her and be like, this happened, and she's so excited for me.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So I think it's the people that are there to celebrate your wins, because it's actually really, for some people, very hard to celebrate their friends' wins. It's much easier to be around them when things aren't going well, or they want to have a bitch or be around negative energy.
I actually have one friend who, if I have anything that go wrong, they're there for me. Yeah. If things are going right.
Really?
It's kind of funny because everyone, don't you think it's interesting though? Because people are like, oh, it's the people that are there for you in your hardest times. I'm like, for me, it's the people that are there when I'm winning, when life is
Yes.
good,
that shows
and they
confidence.
and it shows confidence. So I
Yes.
think it's having a friend that's truly confident in who they are, and having someone that I don't want them to be a cookie cutter of me. I don't need them to be going to the gym at the same time as I am, or eating the same way I am, or whatever it might be. But like whatever they're doing in their life, I want it to light them up.
I asked this because pre-doing the podcast, I was always a baby. Like I was always a baby in all my circles, always had older boyfriends, older friends. And then when I started doing the podcast, it's like all of my friends are like so much younger than me. And I was really triggered by age for a while. And even my friend who I had a coffee with this morning is like 12 years younger and like absolutely killing it. And I was like, and I said to her, I was so triggered when I found out your age. But we just had this beautiful discussion around age and how it actually, that number means nothing, because it's like we all mature at different stages. We go through different life journeys to get us to where we are. And really it's about what we can bring to the table as a friend and the experiences that we kind of ultimately end up bonding over. I'd love to hear your take on age, because it's something I'm totally working through being okay with as a 35-year-old. And so I'm older than both of you.
I'm 33. Katie's 25. 25.
Do you know? But do you know? I'm just gonna say one thing straight off the bat. I have never considered our age. I don't know if you have because you're the older one, but I have never once considered us being a different age. Except for the fact you have 2 children.
Yeah.
But like I don't sit there and be like, oh, it's evident that Kayla's older than me.
Yeah, no, I use it as a party trick. They're like I'm like, oh yeah, this is Lani and this is Katie. And like, I'm like, Katie's literally like 8 years younger than me. And everyone's like, what?
Yeah, she needs better skincare. No.
No, but they're like, that just shows like age really is absolutely nothing. So my example is Katie and I both love this. So I got to explain him. Not love in that way, just love as like, honestly, like a child. So this man's name is Jesse.
Yes.
He works for my husband as a worker who supports people with acquired brain injury. So he will go to their house and help them with everything they need, give them medication, whatever they need.
Jesse does.
His name is Jesse.
Yeah.
When we went
God's
away,
gift to earth.
When we went away, we asked Jesse if he could house sit our house. And our house is not a small house, and it was brand new renovation. And he lived so far away. He was like, absolutely. So not only did Jesse look after our dogs and our house, but also he looks after humans for a living. He then came to the Gold Coast to transition. We have 2 fully trained protection dogs, and he was so good with them, like to the point where he could have been a trainer for these dogs. He brought them over to the Gold Coast and he lived with us. He helped bath the kids. He helped feed the kids. Anyway, Jesse's birthday was 3 days ago. Jesse turned 18.
No, he didn't.
He turned 18.
I knew he was younger than me.
He just turned 18.
He could be 45.
He could be any age.
He could be Kayla's age.
He is the biggest blessing on this earth. And he was 16, 17 when he was doing all this for us.
Wow.
Like age is honestly just a number.
It really is, isn't it? Yeah, totally. So are you comfortable with age then now as like with people's age? Like it doesn't affect you?
Absolutely not.
Yeah. No, I love that.
Absolutely not. I think it's great.
Because I think it's 100% like a social construct of ways of, it's just age is quite literally how many years you've been alive, but it is not a reflection of where you should be, what you should have done, what friends you should and shouldn't have.
Yeah.
Just gives you discounts at the movies when you hit 60 or something.
So
That's about
true.
it.
So when it comes to boundaries, like in a friendship, how do you set them and honour them?
I think having a profile, it looks a little bit different. So when it comes to like, I don't think it's boundaries. I think it's just friendships in general. It's either you're all in or it's just not it.
Yeah.
I think when it comes to, I think you have to set some non-negotiable things and like non-negotiable both ways. So if it triggers, if you even have one red flag, that person can no longer be your friend. So for example, if Katie was trying to use me to access a database or something like that, it's a red flag. You're automatically not my friend. I don't know where we are in life and how many people we have around us at all times. I don't know whether it's something that you can just be like, oh, here are my boundaries. It's like kind of all or nothing, especially with a ethnic like Mediterranean family.
Yes.
Very all or nothing.
Yeah.
I think I'm also from a Mediterranean background and we are raised with family at the forefront. So many of my closest friends are made up by family members, which leaves not, and I like to invest a lot of time and energy into the friendships I do have. Like the close ones I have, you have my full attention at all times. But when so many of those spaces are occupied by your family, you become quite discerning with who you do let into your circle.
Yes.
And I think that's one of the reasons why Kayla and I click so instantly and got along so well, is we've been raised so similarly and have like share so many similar values. But I think boundaries, well, for me personally, I'm such a people pleaser and I want to be able to be there for everyone and do everything. And I've learned that the person that always loses in that situation is me. So learning to say no and not overcommitting to plans, or when I've had a long day and I see a phone call come up from a friend and you can know, you're like, oh, okay, they're coming with a bit of a heavy phone call to debrief on the day or the week. I've actually learned to just let it ring out. And I don't do that all the time. And that sounds really bad, but there's times you're like, okay, the most important person I need to look after right now is me. And if I'm at 0 and I've had a big week, I've got nothing to give anyway. So I'm not going to take that phone call. I'll call them back tomorrow when I've had a good night's sleep. It's just learning when to switch off from friendships as well.
I love that.
Like if you're a friend of mine, you've already you're a solid person.
Yeah.
So it's not the boundaries on like having toxic or not toxic friendships. It's like if you're my friend, you're a solid person.
Yes.
But it's just learning those boundaries of, even with my closest of closer friends, even family members, it's like I just need to not deal with that right now.
Yeah, and that is like healthy boundaries at the end of the day. I'm like so protective with who I write back to. Well, like when I write back to people, what phone calls I answer. Like all my friends like, you never answer your phone. I'm like, yeah, it's not like a personal attack on you. It's just like I'm done for the day, you know, with either the kids or I just energetically can't show up for that, and it's or hold space for it. So,
100%. But I know I'll get short with people if I take a phone call when I'm not actually able to give them much.
Yes.
And then I'm like, I'm flustered. Like, I'm busy. What are you doing calling me? It's like, I should just not have taken the phone call. That's actually my fault. It's not their fault.
I actually need you to play this back of the realization of my mind that my toxic trait is that I will burn out before I let someone down. I just realized as you were talking.
Yeah.
So I just want to recall this conversation I had the other day. We have a known friend who has a drug and alcohol addiction that does not live in Australia.
Yeah.
And I was trying to, I have had family members, not related to me, but married into my family, that have passed away of drug and alcohol addiction. So I know that they lie. I know that they need help. I know that I can't do everything. Like, anyway, I'm trying to help this person. So imagine, as Katie said, there's a lot of people at Kayla's house at all times, and I'm openly trying to help this person. I am distracted by trying to text this person being like, hey, like, you know, we need to get you back on track. And everyone is yelling at me, like, including Lani. She was like, you need to set boundaries. Like, you need to stop trying to save everyone. You can't save everyone. Like, this is going to kill you. And I literally looked up and I said to everyone, I promise you, I was put on this earth to help people. And if I can't help someone in that day, I will honestly perish. Like, I need to give everyone my battery until I die. Yeah. And that's my toxic trait. I have no idea how to set boundaries. If you tell me you need help and I'm on my deathbed, I'm up. Yes. Like, I'm trying to help you.
Wow.
And so everyone's like, stop trying to help him. He needs to help himself. I'm like, if I don't help him, like, I feel like it's on me.
Really?
But I do that in every scenario with every single person. If my phone rings, I'm answering.
And is that something you feel like you would like to let go of a little bit, or it fulfills you?
No, it's so part of me, the guilt that would run over my body. The trauma started from missing 2 phone calls, ignoring 2 phone calls on my phone. That was like really early in the morning. And then me picking up, he rang a 3rd time and I picked it up and I was like, what? And the worst news came, like the worst news in the world for me at the time. And I think, like, I just can't let a phone ring out. Like, what if it's important?
Yeah.
Like, I'll wreck myself.
Oh yeah, I will sleep with my phone. It goes on do not disturb, but loud. And I have my settings that if it's on do not disturb, any phone call will come through. So all my friends know, obviously don't call me during the night, but if you need me, I'm always contactable. Like, I hate the idea. And I would never, like what I was saying before, like, I'll let a phone call ring out, but you kind of can know.
But you're good at setting boundaries,
I am very good at boundaries, but I also know, like, I have a rule. Our family has like this unspoken rule that if you call, you answer, and if you can't answer right then, you take that you call that person back as soon as physically possible. Like family members, and if you get a double call from them, if I'm training a client and I end it and then they call back straight away, I don't care what is going on. I am taking that phone call
Yes.
then and there. Like it is just a non-negotiable.
Yeah,
So there's that side of boundaries, but then there's me being like, I know I'll get short with people if I
Yeah.
answer a phone call when I've got nothing left to give.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why are you annoying me? And I'm like, that's just actually just on me. They've done
Yeah.
nothing wrong.
Yeah.
They're just calling to say hi.
Yes. Yeah, totally. But is it something that would drain you like over time? Do you feel like it's, yeah, it's a
They'll never tell that
people-pleasing.
person.
Yeah.
It's a people pleasing thing, but it's also like being raised in a Greek family.
Yeah.
Like the men in the family are treated like absolute gods. So if my dad calls me, it's like quick, I got to answer. Like my dad is the kindest, nicest person. He doesn't need anything more than like, where's my drill? But like I have to answer that. And then just like making sure that everyone is okay before yourself. That was how I was raised. Like, and same with Katie, like
Yeah.
having like any sort of Lebanese, Greek, Italian, like I can't speak to everyone, but like that sort of like level of parent, especially the
Yeah.
mother, it's always the kids. Like they must eat, I must clean their clothes. Everything must be perfect. Like everything is in order for them, and then I can eat and then I can live my life. But for
Yes.
me, I've got so many people coming in, help. And I'm like, output. My battery is drained every single day.
And then you're running a business and have 2 kids on top of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're also just a girl.
Yeah,
New
that's
girl.
it.
How do you find time for you to just like actually recharge those batteries?
No, I have
you?
non-negotiable. Like,
Yeah.
I'm so used to this life that I've like set out like things in my
Yeah,
life. Like, I got to
okay.
train at this time. I've got to go drop the kids off at this time. Like, my life is organized. I also have a personal assistant. I also have ADHD. Like, but I also have a personal assistant that helps me manage the bits that I can't manage. So
Yes,
like some
okay.
people are not as fortunate as me, and that's what I have to remember. Because I'm like, where's this? And she's like, here. I'm like, great.
But I would say, and you don't give yourself enough credit for, Kayla has a very, very strict bedtime and like a very good sleep routine, which I think a lot of people or myself, like that's something I don't have, and I will cut into my sleep time to get things done or to people please or to look after other people. Like that's, I think you have a really, really good boundary with when you shut off for the night.
Yeah, cool.
So I guess for anyone who is trying to find their circle, especially if it is in like healthy friends, you know, people that are enjoying health, wellness, mindset, do you have any kind of advice or tips that you could give them for finding those people, their circles?
So my best friend, other best friend is also in this group, Lani, has this thing now that she's developed called the probationary period, right?
Yeah.
So she's like, everyone is on probation for 6 months when they enter your life, as in all of our lives. You get to like go away with them. You get to like have dinners with them and lunches with them. You don't tell them too much. They treat them like a tier 3 friend, 6 months probation. They pass their probation, they can then be your friend. And this is not an elitist thing. This is what people should, this is a boundary that people should set. Because with social media, everything could be true, everything could be a lie. So, and a lot of people, we're not doing face-to-face meetings anymore. We're not meeting at cafes. We're meeting online and then seeing each other at cafe. Oh, I saw you, like I followed you, whatever it is. So everyone is on this 6-month probationary period, and then we decide after 6 months. So moving to the Gold Coast, that was really hard because everyone's on probation. These are all new people. And how do you find your people? Yes, and with the social media world, a lot of things are fake. So you have to learn the hard way, unless you have a friendship like Katie and I's, where you just, when you know, you know. But when you also, what you also need to do, and people listening to this, when a friendship is no longer serving you, you need to get rid of it.
Yes.
For me, I have absolutely no idea and no good advice on how to get rid of friends. Because like I said, I will run a social battery out to try and help that person or try and change that person to who I want them to be, or I think they could be.
Yeah.
So maybe you have better advice on how to get rid of friends that don't serve you. But if your about is not the same anymore, get rid of it, because it's just going to drain the hell out of your life.
Yeah.
I think friends come and go. Like I've definitely, you know, Kayla's got a family and kids, and it's in a slightly different stage because so much of your time is occupied by them. Like you still obviously have like your gorgeous friends, but I've very quickly, I entered, well, not that you didn't, but I got into work and like started working. I didn't go to university after school. I went straight into full-time work. I was so passionate about growing my personal training business, and you become aligned with different people that are in a different stage of their life. And it took me a while to realize that my friends that went to university and were living out that uni life and drinking Thursday through to Sunday nights, they weren't bad people. We just wanted different things. And that means you start doing different things. I wasn't going out. I wasn't then invited to things, and you start to feel left out and whatever. And I think it's just clearly communicating, you know, to them that, hey, like you're not wrong and I'm not wrong. We're just on different paths. And I think that's okay. But I'm probably saying that now from more of a like mature standpoint and like being able to reflect back on that. But I don't think you have to get rid of friendships. Like, I don't think you need to sit there and it doesn't have to be this big blow up. It doesn't have to be, okay, yep, you're done. Bye. See you never. I've had friendships that have lasted since I was 4 years old, but they ebb and flow like everything. And people are always going to be going through things. And it's not just as easy as, well, you weren't nice to me that one day, or you didn't call me back or whatever. It's like, you know what? They've probably got other stuff going on as well. And just realizing that it's okay to let things go for a little bit, and they may come back, they may not. And that's okay, because life changes and things evolve. And I've seen it with friends I was really, really close with, and then they've gone on and had children. And, you know, now, of course, they're going to gravitate towards the mums that they go to the playground with, because they've got mutual things to talk about, and their lives are more aligned. So I think when you look at friendships, and yes, okay, one, if it's like super toxic and you're like, you're just outrightly, like, you're mean, you're a bad person, you're talking about me behind my back, 100% like cut that, done by. But if it's just a friendship that you've had and you're like, oh, we're drifted apart a bit, just let it drift, just let it go, because you don't need to like turf these relationships for no reason just because you're not as close.
Yes.
And it can come back around. It's easy as just picking up the phone call and being like, hey, picking up the phone or sending a text me like, hey, you know, I know we haven't spoken in a while, but no, I love you just as much and I hope you're doing really well. When you get a chance, call me back. And if they don't, they don't. It doesn't make them a bad person. They're just doing their own thing.
I love that. I always love the saying or the quote that friends are there for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And I'm like, I really like feel that a lot. And it's like, just makes it like no friendship is almost like not necessary in your life. It's just like maybe they were only there for one reason. Yeah. Maybe they're there for a season, like the start of your motherhood journey, or, you know. Yeah. And others are those people that have literally been there forever. But I felt like when I lent into that, I felt okay with letting go of certain ones, being like, well, not every friendship has to be for a lifetime.
But I think good friendships don't require a lot of maintenance. Like I
totally agree with that.
And I've learned this a lot since becoming friends with you, that you don't need the fluffy, wishy-washy kind of stuff. And I think a little bit that's because you're not like a girly kind of person. But I can go 4 days, not that this really happens, but I can go 4 days without speaking to Kayla properly. And then I could call her and say, I need you in Brisbane right now. And she said, I'm already halfway there. Like, it's just the friendships that you don't need to be morning and night attending to and da-da-da-da. It's just you do you, I'll do me, and we know we have a really good friendship.
I love that. I like Lani's take, though, on the probation. I need to get better at the probation period.
You did Lani on the podcast. That girl's got some good advice.
When I complain, she's just like, is this person the probation period or not? I'm like, yes. She's like, okay.
You've got your answer.
I distinctly remember being called to, I hope you're listening to this podcast, by the way, this particular female that I was friends with in school. She called me into town, so like imagine like the mall, to tell me that she no longer wants to be friends with me anymore because I don't go out and drink and I don't make any time for them because all they did was go out and drink. And I was so blindsided by this. I was like, oh my God, like what have I done wrong? And I remember walking off and crying because she goes, oh, are you going to cry? I was like, no. And I walked off and I cried. And I just feel like I would never get myself into that situation right now. Like I just know straight away that person's going to be my friend or they're not.
Yeah, that's good. But you said at the start, I think we'd hit record, maybe we hadn't, but your intuition's so strong with people now too. Like you can really pick up.
So strong. Other than, that one person.
No, but you are very good at reading situations. Like I'll come to you and be like, hey, what do you make of this? And Kayla will say, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
Like, yep, you're actually bang on the money.
Yeah, okay. I know that you don't drink.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you go? Do you drink?
I do drink. I don't drink very often. And because I don't drink very often, I can only handle maybe 1 or 2 drinks. Like I quite like every now and again, every 3 months.
Yeah, okay.
I might have a glass or 2. But then I'm happy to call it. I actually think I'm getting to the stage. Like I never want to say not never, but I would never say, because it would be a lie, that I don't drink, but I really don't drink that often.
Really.
Like I think at your wedding I had 2 drinks and I was, but I'm happy with that. Like I like the, unlike you don't actually like the taste of it.
I was going to say, how do you navigate that in social settings? I know you've probably had a lot of experience with it now, but like back when you first were like, I just don't drink. How do you navigate that when people around you have?
So I think, I don't know if I've explained this before, but I think I operate a certain level of confidence, and once I enter a room, I can match people's confidence levels. Once their confidence level, so say they're a little bit below me, supersedes my confidence level in terms of things that they're saying and things that they're doing and the way that they're acting. And I don't think the word confidence is correct, but maybe their energy levels supersedes mine way, and it starts going like this.
Yes.
Oh, sorry, I just bumped the mic. It starts going way above mine. For the people that can't see me and just listening to this, my hand is way above my other hand. I remove myself from the situation because I can no longer operate on that energy level.
Yeah.
So I will stay at an event for maybe an hour or two max. And everyone's like, she's leaving. I'm like, I'm leaving. Like, everyone knows that I don't drink.
Yeah.
So I'll remove myself, or I won't go altogether depending on what the type of event is. I won't go to a nightclub or something like that.
Yeah, okay.
Because I just don't enjoy being around
people are, drinking.
that level of energy.
So then on your hens and your wedding day, how did you handle that?
I'll speak to that because I witnessed it.
Yeah.
Kayla was the centre of the dance floor the entire night at her wedding. Her hens was so much fun, but I must say, I loved it. Her hens was the best. We went out for lunch. Kayla did not want to go, and I ironed her pants and I said, put these on, we're going out. And I went and got her heels. She's like, I want to wear sneakers. I was like, you're putting heels on. It is your hens, woman. Come on. I was more excited. I was like, I've not flown down to Adelaide for this. Put your pants on. I've ironed them. We're going. And we went and we had a beautiful long lunch, and then we went back and caught up with the boys because they had a lunch. And then Kayla, Lani and I were back at home in Adelaide with Uber Eats in our lap at 5:30 p.m. And it was the perfect hens.
That's what I mean. Your friends are like, your abouts are all the same. My friends got it. My friends are like, do you just want to leave and go in pajamas and like, let's just like go get Uber Eats? Like, yes.
Yeah, but don't get me wrong. Kayla also would never judge someone for drinking. Like I've been out at restaurants, I've traveled to Bali with Kayla, and I will sit there and have a drink, and I do not for 1 second feel like Kayla's not judging other people. Lani has a drink. I have a drink, but we're not getting drunk. I think that's
Can I say something controversial?
Okay.
I don't drink, but I love my friends, my close friends and family. I love when they get drunk. I love their energy. Like when my family gets drunk, if Katie is drunk, she'll be exactly the same, just a little bit bubblier. Like she'll be like, she will be
so much fun.
Like I get a comedy show for free when people drink around me. Like I genuinely, and if they're my people, I love it. I'm like, drink. Because I'm a feeder. I would probably be the person like providing the shots or providing the like if I can make cocktails, like Jules Sebastian, how she makes cocktails. If I could be Jules for the night and make everyone a cocktail and watch the comedy show.
But I would also say, can I say, we're at a fun drunk. I think there's levels of drunk that people hit when they're drinking.
My friends would never do that.
No, but I'm saying we wouldn't do that. But I'm saying you enjoy it because people that are like, oh, she enjoys her friends drunk. We're not sloppy drunk. We're not slurring our words drunk. We're 2-3 drinks deep drunk where we're just giggling and laughing and like, but also 2 hours later we're all just sitting on the couch eating and it's chill. We're not, Kayla's not holding my ponytail back because I vomit. Like it's not that kind of drunk. It's like, I think we should do it.
Wild and Kayla's babysitting.
Is it tipsy?
It's a free comedy
It's actually
show.
tipsy. It's not even drunk.
Yeah.
Okay, I think drunk is like.
I ain't judging anyone. If you're going to be funny and you're going to entertain me all night, go for it.
So fun.
But Kayla's wedding was the best wedding. I've been to a few weddings now, and people that are like big partiers and they put all this. Kayla's was the best. I'm not saying this because we're on the couch. Wedding I have ever been to. The best DJ. The best DJ.
DJ
music
Sammy.
always,
DJ Sammy.
Yes, but music always like makes, if you can just dance all night, like there is no better frequency to be in than just like
100%.
rocking out on a dance floor with like the people you love.
And Katie looked so fucking good. Katie rang me like 4 times prior to the wedding being like, I'm going to look so good.
People probably think I'm so up myself. But see, this is what I mean. This is why Kayla's a good friend, because I can call her and I said to her, and one of my friends is an incredible designer and she'd made me this amazing dress. And I just loved it on me. And I called Kayla and I said, Kayla, I'm going to look so good at your wedding. Now, any other bride that you would call and say, I'm going to look so good at your wedding would have a mentee be and probably uninvite you. And Kayla's like, yes, I cannot wait. And Kayla, I'm pretty sure, actually took my phone to start taking photos of me at her wedding.
Ooh, she looked so good. All my friends looked so hot and they were wearing the same type of colours.
We all wore pink, which was fully unplanned.
So good.
Your video that you posted like last week or something of your wedding, I was like, this is such a vibe. Like it looked so fun.
It was the best. For people that weren't drinking, like for a crowd of people that weren't drunk, I mean, there was alcohol being consumed, but like for people that weren't drunk and for Jay and Kayla who like aren't drinkers, it was the most fun I've ever had at a wedding.
So good.
do it all
Would
again.
you? I feel like the drink. So, like, drinking is an interesting thing in the health space because it's like some people do give it up to prioritize their health. Others, it's just like something that they don't like to do. I guess for anyone who is toying with the idea of stopping alcohol but is worried about it from a social aspect, do either of you have any advice?
I don't think alcohol is the problem anymore. I think it's drugs, to be honest. I
yeah,
honestly think
yeah.
like everyone keeps like dancing around the fact that like it's like, oh, alcohol and stopping alcohol to help with it. It's like there's a whole industry of fitness professionals. Definitely not me. I do not drink or take drugs, but that drugs
And
is
definitely not me. Let's just
sorry,
and not
Katie,
and me.
and not Katie, but drugs, and especially I don't even know if you want to include this, but cocaine is like the problem right now.
Yeah.
Like it's not so much drinking. If you say you're not drinking, okay, but what else are you doing?
Yeah.
And so that's where it's
When you were talking about the frequency before, that's where we tap out. You go into an event and let's not beat around the bush. People, it's all fun for the first hour or two and then other substances become involved and changes the entire energy. You're not even conversing. And my favorite thing about events is engaging with people and talking to people and catching up. None of that is happening anymore. So I was like, okay, I'm
check
leaving.
out.
yeah, that's so to be very clear,
Yeah.
alcohol for me is not enough for me to leave an event. As soon as I see another frequency of energy come in, being drugs,
Yeah.
I'm out.
I'm done.
And people think that I'm out because people are drinking. It's not that. It's because I'm not even able to hold a conversation with you anymore. I can visually see that you've taken something. I'm out. So in the fitness industry, if you're looking at, reducing your alcohol intake or cutting it out altogether, absolutely. Like start by just having, one drink when you go out if that's what makes you feel comfortable, or replace it with a mocktail. That's what I did.
Yeah.
I just used to replace the alcohol. So I was 19 when I stopped drinking.
Yeah.
With a mocktail. It was delicious. I felt really sick because I have an amount of sugar I had at the end of the night.
I was going to say that's the only thing.
It's like it starts to hurt your teeth. Like
yes,
because you want to drink in your hand.
I go home more wide because I'm like, oh, I've had 3 mocktails and I would never eat this much sugar.
Never
and
have that
like,
much sugar.
So wild. Wide.
So that's what I would do, and then. You just want to drink. I think you just want to drink in your hand.
Do you know
what?
It's a drink in your hand.
So much more comfortable like this.
I always will go to an event and like I said, I rarely drink, and I will never ever drink in a professional sense. And that's only because I'm such a lightweight that I can't actually handle it. And it's embarrassing because after 2 drinks, I'm actually getting wobbly. Like it's not funny. Maybe for someone else watching on. So I will only drink in like a social setting with my friends because it's relaxed. But I think if you're thinking about or toying with the idea of taking alcohol out, depends like why. Like why are you doing it? Is it to improve your health? Well, 100% alcohol is not good for us in terms of what it does to our insides. It stops your body's ability to sleep as well. It slows your metabolism. It destroys your muscles. Like all those things, sure, if you want to look at it from that side. But then the trade-off for me is that there is an aspect of my health that benefits greatly when I'm sitting with my friends, with my closest girlfriends, having a glass of wine, maybe 2, laughing our heads off, being out in the sun, enjoying a summer afternoon. There is that aspect that I'm like, that for me outweighs the cons of the what alcohol or 2 glasses of wine would do to my body in terms of sleep and recovery and performance.
Okay.
So I think you need to look at it and be like, okay, well, what is my consumption? How much is it over a week, a month, half a year, a year? Is it a lot? Is it a little bit? Do I sitting here right now as a fitness professional, understanding what alcohol does to my body, would cutting out the occasional glass of wine benefit my health more so? No.
Yeah.
It wouldn't. The trade-off for me isn't enough. I get so much more that benefits my, like the social side of it and how much I laugh and all those sorts of things
outweigh that.
Outweigh
I love
what
that
2 glasses of wine would do to my sleep on the odd occasion.
Yeah.
So that's why I sit here, I'm like, I like alcohol. I have a really healthy relationship with alcohol.
Yeah.
I more often than not will go out and not drink alcohol and be out with people that are drinking, and that's fine. Again, I'm not judging, but I am also in the same breath not going to sit here and say I don't drink alcohol.
Yes. No, I love that take. I think you articulated that so beautifully, and and it is a personal choice. Like I actually gave up alcohol this year, but in not a permanent thing. I was just like, I'm going to give it up for 6 months. Not that I really drank in the last probably 5 or 6 years, I really drank at all. But for so long, I didn't want to put myself in like a I don't drink.
Yeah.
But I was like, I don't want to put myself in a box and blah, blah. And then I was like, oh, is that just like a mindset thing that I need to work on? And I actually need to challenge myself, because I would find that I would drink in social settings, even if I didn't necessarily want to, but because everyone else was.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I've had quite a few social things on this year, and I'm like, I just want to test myself and see if I could actually still hold my own and like be confident in settings where I can say no to alcohol. It's been a fun experiment, I'm not going to lie. So, and maybe I'll drink again one day, but like right now I'm like, oh, it kind of feels fun to go to like to an setting, you know, a girls' lunch, and be like, I went to a boozy girls' lunch, and my girlfriends like we all had so much fun. Exactly. Like it filled up my cup so much, but I'm like, they were all getting blind, and I'm like, I just tapped out when I was ready. I'm like, okay, girls, the conversation's getting a bit loopy
Messy,
now.
yeah.
I'm out. But I'm like, it was still so much fun, and it still filled up my cup. And then I was also proud of myself that I was able to like honour the way that I kind of wanted to feel with like not drinking. So I guess that's why I brought it into the chat, because it's something that I've always toyed with the idea of. And it's been a fun experiment, not drinking.
But I think
but
what
I
I
loved
want
what you
to
take about sometimes I actually just really crave a drink with my girlfriends.
and it's fine. I think the biggest thing you need to look at is like, and ask yourself, what is my relationship with alcohol?
Yes.
Is it really, am I doing it to feel confident in a situation? Am I
Yes.
doing it because there's a part of me that doesn't feel quite whole when I'm out socially?
Yes.
If that's the case, then you probably need to work on that.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, it's just a extra little bit on top with my
Yes.
girlfriends in a sunny afternoon.
I love that.
But I think the other thing is like on social media, like most things, there's a whole movement now of don't drink, and if you're drinking, you're failing, and you're not working at your optimum, and like all these things. And if you're having a drink, you're failing. It's like, no,
you're not.
shush.
Yeah.
Like sit down.
Totally.
Like if I want to have a drink on the odd occasion, I'm going to, and I'm not going to think twice about it.
Yes.
My life will go on,
Mm-hmm.
and that's coming from a person that my whole life and career is based around being a fitness professional. So
Yeah.
The one thing I will say, which is very, I think, rare nowadays as a fitness professional, especially a personal trainer, is Katie and I, we actually just discussed this on the way here. We didn't come from a bad relationship with anything, and we don't have a sob story behind anything. So we both were raised in a family that celebrated food.
Yes.
So we both love food. We've never had a bad relationship with food. So in order to alter something, even as a joke in our diet, would simply be a joke for us, because we didn't come from a bad relationship.
Yeah.
Exercise. We've never had a bad relationship with exercise. Both of us were athletes from the second we could walk was the second that we love sport.
Yeah.
Any sport. Give us any sport over any subject and we would have done that. That was us. And the same thing with drinking. Like we don't have a bad relationship with drinking. We don't have we don't come from a, so it's easy for us to say
it is very
you can
easy.
cut it out.
Yes.
It's like I do it this way because we don't have a bad relationship. When people have come, so a lot of people listen to this will have a bad relationship with food. They will have a bad relationship with exercise, and they will rely on that drink of alcohol to give them the confidence because of the bad relationship with everything else. So for the people listening that do have a bad relationship, you have to work harder. Facts.
Yes.
You have to work way harder, and it's going to be way harder for you, but the reward after and how proud of yourself you will feel after you do it is tenfold, more than me and Katie, because it's just a joke to us to stop something or start something.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's such a beautiful take, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because I think, you know, sometimes it's figuring out too what is that underlying, because the drinking or the partying or whatever it is like the void, like that's the thing that you're doing, but it's like what's the actual underlying thing that is creating you to want to do that? You know, what is it that's making you want to go out and party all night or drink the alcohol and that, if you know it's not serving you? It's like there's always something rooted in that.
It's like when people say at the end of the week, oh, I've had the biggest week, I've had the worst day, I just need a drink.
Yeah.
It's not the drink that you want. You want to alleviate the pain of having a long week or having a bad day.
Yes.
And it's just what you know. So fortunately, like Kayla was saying, we were raised that if we had a bad week or if we'd had a long day, we'd sit down and eat food as a family and discuss it. But for most people, it's go out, drink until you can't remember and wake up not feeling so great the next day. So it's, again, establishing like why you're doing that and is that serving you?
Yeah. Before we wrap up today's chat, is there anything exciting happening with Sweat that you can let us in on, girls?
New trainers.
Ooh.
And I think, well, right now we're doing a Powerade deal with Powerade, which is cool. A partnership with Powerade, I should say. And new trainers. And oh my God, I really want to say what I want to say. We're speaking to someone potentially signing them, and it's someone that I've always wanted to work with. So I'm hoping that deal goes through. And if it doesn't, then you never heard this and you just throw this in the bin, you know?
And why have you always wanted to work with that person? Is it like a new category, or just is there much you can say?
I think I definitely just have always admired this person, their work ethic and everything that they've done in their life. And it would be such a dream to be able to have this align. It's not something it wasn't like I saw Katie, then a year later. This is like years.
Yes.
Like years and years and years.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I love that. Sweat are giving 6 months free for the app to train with Katie, Kayla, and the rest of the Sweat trainers, free for 6 months as a Healthy Hustler listener, which is insane. So make sure you get on board with that. Do you guys have anything to say about the way you train, welcoming anyone to the app?
I mean, I think that if there's one thing I can say about Sweat is there's something for everyone. So like to the point where even if you're pregnant, post-pregnant, there's something for you. If you want to train high intensity, there's something for you. If you want strength training, Pilates, yoga, like anything that you like and more coming.
And more.
Very soon, it will be all in one place for you. And that's what we want.
Yeah, I love it.
It's just the most amazing community. And I'm truly mean that from the bottom of my heart. I mean, they motivate me. There's so many days where I'm so tired, I don't want to train, and then I'll see someone message me or they'll upload their finishing a workout. I'm like, I need to do that. I like, okay, we're all doing this now. It's genuinely for something that's so online, it feels so personal.
Yeah.
And it's the best.
Girls, thank you so much for joining me. Loved meeting you in person. I know we connected online. Kayla, always a pleasure to see you again. Thank you both for your time.
Thank you so much.
Yay.